you everyone for joining us tonight or today or this morning, whatever time zone you're in. It's a very important AMA for all of us, and especially for those who have followed the Telegram channel. A lot of questions came up to different topics, and we are here to answer as many questions as possible. And maybe we'll start with a short introduction to cover most of the questions, so that we have time for the specific ones. So I will cover more the plan we do have, so that you have an idea what's coming next. To give you an idea what we do, and Brian will then speak about all stuff related to pricing and what we have seen. And it's important to us that we are on the same page, that we have a common understanding. What happens? What are the plans? Where do we want to go? And I can just emphasize that WeSendit as a company is motivated and triggered to stay for the long run. So our focus is never short term. Our focus is long term, and we know that things are coming in waves. We have some marketing waves, we have development waves. We have not started, and everything is already here. So we are developing things, and we learn also. And I think it's important to understand that it is a continuous process, and we do progress on various items. That's just important, that you have the right understanding what WeSendit is and what we do. So let me first talk a little bit about the plan we do have. It's one of the most common questions, and the question is absolutely legit if we see the environment and what happened the last few days and maybe 2 weeks. The question is, what have you planned? What do you want to do? What is your goal for WeSendit? And Jens has already mentioned parts in the German AMA when he was joined by Gate.io. But I can emphasize on three pillars we have planned, and what is our idea for this year. It's important to understand that it's a plan. So no one can guarantee that we meet each and every little thing, but we do our best to release those 3 points. The first thing is that we are very much focused on product development. So as most of you, mainly the long-term investors, have understood, WeSendit has a use case, and I think that's one of the major mindsets changes sometimes you need to have. WeSendit is a use case. We have a product, and this product needs to be developed, and with the product, the token gains speed. So it's important that we have a product available, so that this platform for data transfer and data storage is built and released. And this is planned for end of Q1 2023. So end of Q1 this year, we have the MVP. MVP means minimal viable product. So this means, that said, this is the platform with the basic functions, and then we add functions by function until we have reached the full power of the platform. And this takes us maybe towards end of this year. So we have 1 year of development, but end of first quarter we have the MVP ready. Of course, we plan to vote in the community about features. It's important that the community can give input, can comment, can vote what functions we should have, what functions are desired, what functions is a bad idea, this kind of things. We have a basic idea, what functions we will implement. But of course, we are not limited just to our point of view. We want to profit from the experience and all the ideas from the community, and then we condense it in functions, and then we release it so that we have in the end a very good product for all of us and also for our customers. So that's one of the major focus, the product development. That we have the MVP ready, and Reto, who is our project leader, he works day and nights so that we can release this MVP as soon as possible. That's one stream we have. The second stream is VCs, venture capital. As we have learned from several discussions, and we got input that venture capitals are important if you want to move on with big exchanges, or if you want to realize bigger things. One of the first questions we always face if we discuss with partners is, are there venture capitals in the back? Even though we do not understand this question, because we have a community and the community has invested already a big amount, still then they ask for venture capitalists, for some big guys who are in the back. So it's my job and the job of my team to prepare pitch decks, to pitch the use case, and to see that we get venture capitalists on board. This could be utility token venture capitalists, but also shareholders. We are not limited to one or the other. We will see what we get. And once we have venture capitals in a reasonable way, then of course we are ready to the next step. And one of the next steps, it's not a big surprise, has been discussed quite a lot. We want to achieve a Binance listing in third or fourth quarter of this year. It's our goal. That does not mean we are already qualified or we have applied or whatever, but our goal is that once we have the surroundings ready, if we have the prerequisites ready, then we give it a try and see if we can achieve a Binance listing. So that's a bit what the plan is. Of course, we will restart marketing again. So we are preparing the next wave of marketing. With the YouTuber, we go more the international way than instead of staying focused on more German-speaking parts. So we will open it up. Means international YouTubers, blogging. So we have a new rollout of marketing measures. We will finalize this beginning of next week, and then we give a go. And we will do AMAs on different platforms just to activate other communities or community members to join us and give us a chance and invest into the token, or just move our project forward. What I want to mention as well, and we do not have to forget, we will also plan a live event in April or May in Switzerland. I think in the German-speaking group there is a poll already where you can vote if you want to participate or not. We want to invite people or investors here to Switzerland and have a good time together, have a good framework program with presentations, more will be followed. But it was on our plan already, and I'm happy to announce that we will go ahead and realize this event to say personally hello to you, shake hands, have a chat, discuss the project, and maybe share some amazing news at that point. We will also do some expansions of cooperation and technology partners, but that's something which needs an MVP. So as soon as we have a product ready, we will set up the sales team, and then we try to gather bigger customers, corporates, which use the WeSendit data transfer and storage service. And this gives us a stable income, and also the token will profit from big corporates, as there are big names, and once we are allowed to mention them, of course, this will give us a push and creates attention in the end. So this is what I can say. Even though if it looks like quite quiet around us, that you have the impression that we do not a lot of things. Well, we do. Sometimes it's not visible. Sometimes it's not really obvious. But we are working very hard in the back, and we do actions. But we understand that we have to go the extra mile, and we have to do more to create attention in a very bad market sentiment. But it's our job to do so, and yeah, our team does the best so that we can achieve our goals. And yeah, in the end, we want to be all happy, and that's my aim too. Yeah, that's what I can say. Yeah, maybe we have some specific questions then which we can answer. But first, I want to head over to Brian, and yeah, maybe you can share your thoughts, respectively, share your information about pricing and all the big discussions we had around pump, dump, and whatever is came along with that. Please, Brian.
Thank you, Marcus. All right, thank you. I think you can mute yourself so we have less of real vibrations. Well, hello guys, and welcome to this MA again. And as always, we try to give you all updates as they come. And it's important that we mark this date to be our monthly date for every MAs. So we'll be piling MAs over time that we can discuss them with you. And during a monthly period of time, it's important that all that happened in the past and all that we plan forward, you are able to understand them and know exactly what we have done and what we're planning to do. So I will start by a recap of what we have done in the past 1 month since the last MA. So from the last month, I can say that we have been sending emails to the wait lists. These top 10,000, we piled them, we collected the details, and we send the emails back to them. So now they have about a month to fill this form, send them back. We collect this information and then redistribute tokens from the 1st of February in batches as we have already agreed. Now, that was just part of the first event that we did last month. We also did the token ban of 6 million tokens on 1st of January. These tokens were actually from the operation pool. Operation pool is meant for the team to dump into the market and use this fund for operation activities. We all know that, but as you already know as well that WeSendit is already a working product, and it does not rely necessarily on the token itself. So perhaps the whole team and the company itself saw that it could support the chat with during its initial stage by not selling it to the market, rather banning these tokens back to the market. So now that's exactly what we did. And as far as banning token is concerned, we agreed that we'll be banning the old pool. This pool contains about around 10% of total supply, and this is around 150 million tokens. And if we're banning 6 million monthly, that will take us to around 25 months. So we have another 2 years from now to ban tokens. Apart from that, the next ban already is in the next 2 weeks, maybe less. So expect another ban, which will help us as well. The next thing we did was get listing. Get listing was on the 7th of January. This marked our first centralized exchange listing. And of course, every project wishes to be available on international markets. So Gate became our first listing company. The reason we chose Gate will be discussed later. You can ask questions if you want to. But then there are so many reasons that it was the best strategy to go with at the initial stage. Now, after that, we also did the staking platform itself. We launched the staking platform successfully. Currently, we have around 7 million tokens staked. I hope I'm not wrong. and with a high APY of around 200. As I mentioned earlier, that this APY and the amount of token that we have in this pool is enough to sustain this pool for some time. So everybody who's staked, regardless if the price drops, you're earning a substantial amount of tokens, which is basically more stable. So in the next 1 year, and if the APY sustains itself in the next 1 year, you have a 3x on investment. So regardless if the price drops 3x, you'll have a 3x return on your investment. Your token will be 3x. Now, apart from the staking platform that's already successfully launched and is now pegged to NFTs, we also have listing with XT on the 14th of January. This is basically over 5 days ago. This is the latest update that we did as a project. We had the last listing for this month. The more listing will come, and we'll announce them as they come as well. So now, apart from what we have done in the past, if you ask me what to expect in the coming months, for sure, we already shared in the last month that we'll be launching our MVP. We are at the last stage of finishing the MVP. You know, when you're dealing with a product development, you can never mention the exact date. So that's why we say end of January, beginning of February. It's in the Q1, so it's possible that we have it in the middle of February. It's possible that we have it in the end of January. Our CTO will always communicate with us the best time that this product can be out. But again, I'm sure all of you had a chance to see the snapshot, the screenshot that was shared with by our CEO to the groups, that you had an overview of how the platform will look like and how it will be going on. Now, you know, of course, the features that will be rolled during this process are basically focused on Web3 transfer functions. So once the MVP is out, we'll gradually release more functionality into the platform itself. And of course, we are also developing a mobile app too. So you don't need to use a desktop all the time. You can always use it. Yeah, you can always download the app. WeSendit app and send your file transfers and everything through your phone. And the best part of the MVP is that the use case of the token already will start at that stage. Now, apart from the MVP that you should expect in the coming days, we have the burning event. As I've already mentioned, the burning event is something that will be ongoing for the next 2 years. Now, the current burn event for the 2 years is actually to suppress the circulation supply. We know 150 million to remove out of the total supply will reduce our supply up to a big margin. And this will also help into the dilution process, since the tokens are already into the market. And removing them, not removing tokens which are already in the market, also supports the project by increasing the value of the token itself. Apart from that, the use case of MVP, as I mentioned, is just around the corner. When it's initiated and it's up running, this will also help us into burning more tokens. As we already mentioned, that every single person that will be joining the platform will be burning a percentage of the tokens from the subscription model. So this is another way of reducing supply. And this, if it starts early, it means that our tokens over time will have less and less and less token again and again. Now, apart from that, I wanted to mention a point about staking platform, which is pegged with NFTs. People have been wondering, what's the use case of these NFTs? Can I sell NFT itself? Now, well, the main use case of these NFTs is the flexibility to move your staking entries between wallets. Now you are able to transfer your staking tokens and entries to a different wallet without having to incur any costs. And also, it's really, really flexible. We don't need to use your wallet IDs anymore. We just use your NFT ID, which is very convenient, not only to you, but also to us as we develop. Now, some people are like, I have a token on a wallet, and I want on a hot wallet, and I want to send it on a cold wallet. How do I do it? Now you are able to transfer your NFTs and your staking entries into your cold wallet without having to stress about it. Now, again, the ability to sell these tokens on OpenSea, for example. And you know, OpenSea is already a public global platform. So WeSendit not only as a product, as a data project, it's already available on such platforms for NFTs. You can transfer them, you can sell them. It's also a staking platform for future market of WeSendit token itself. You can speculate, sell the price of the token for the future valuation of it. Also the same way with APY. It's value added to you as somebody who has staked this token. You still have the flexibility. Regardless, it's locked, yes. It's locked for 1 year, but doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot do anything with this entry until the unlock period ends. You're flexible to do anything. You can sell your NFT, you can sell your entries, you can move it to different wallets, you can speculate the price and gamble with it. So you can bid and everything goes on with that. And for us, technically, it was a good method of doing the addresses. We just need your NFT ID. It doesn't matter who sell it to who. We'll just use the NFT ID, and that will direct us to the person who has it. Another thing that we have done in the past, and we'll continue doing it in the future, we have expanded our team. Of course, this is to be the timeline of our roadmap. We are expanding to assist in the matters that are related to expansion of Web 3.0. Now, we currently have our corporate development officer. His name is Marcel Busse. Marcel will be helping us for strategic and VC and tech partnerships. And we also have Yasin, who is also our new videographer and is also working with the technical team in the background. As already mentioned by Mr. Marcus, the goal for this year is basically product development, that we have the user capitalist and also listing with Binance in the Q3, Q4. I hope everybody understands that you cannot jump into the market and expect listing immediately on every platform. Then you already listed, but then you have no use case. Some of these platforms want you to have a use case, at least an MVP at some stage, that your token is usable, not only a speculated project. So apart from that, we have already mentioned that we are expanding our cooperation and technology partners. We'll be doing international marketing with major influencers. And lastly, we also have our first event around spring in Switzerland. The framework program will follow up during registration process, and we'll have packages for this. And as was already mentioned again, the cheapest package will cost $60. And I think there will be more incentives that will come with this. Maybe some people will win some raffles and they will go into this event without anything, without paying anything or something. But these are the things that we'll discuss around the corner between now and then. I think those are the updates that I have with me. And probably if there's nothing that we can add, Marcus, if you have something that you want to mention, we can continue. Otherwise, we'll just jump into the questions that we already have from the community itself.
Yeah, I think, Brian, we spoke enough. We should open the chat to questions, doubts, comments, whatever. And yeah, just same rules as always. Raise your hand to get unmuted, or write in the Telegram chat, and we cover the question here in the live chat. But
before we jump into the Telegram live questions, we have questions that were already forwarded earlier, and these questions have been written down, and we can discuss them one by one. Marcus, there is a Google form. You can look at the questions. Now, the first question was about the taxes. The question is, I will read the question itself. What were the rationale for the 3% tax removal? What pros and cons have you considered before removing it? And why now? Won't this negatively impact the project wallet pool these taxes were going into? Staking tax, why have you changed its application from the initial stake amount to rewards? Well, if I have to answer this question about the taxes, we both know that community is always, the slogan of WeSendit is always community first. And that doesn't mean that we always have to do exactly what community needs be done, but we also look at it, how it supports the ecosystem as well. Now, removing the taxes from staking and shifting it to the rewards, it's to allow you to be able to freely join the pool. When we have taxes, people are afraid to join the pool. We already saw a lot of people complaining that, oh, there is a lot of tax, 3% tax, even though they know for sure there is a 200 APY, but they still saw that 3% was already much to join the pool. Now, to incentivize this and encourage people to join into our staking platform, we decided to remove these taxes so they can join the pool freely, but then we'll be taxing the rewards. Rewards are already tokens that we are providing. We are providing the tokens to you, and then we take a little bit percentage of that. And this percentage is 3% goes back into the pool again. So at any point of view, if a person was supposed to stake for 1 week, let's calculate this. This was exactly how we saw it. If you're staking your tokens for 1 week and you're charged 3% tax, it will take you around 9 days before you pay off your taxes, before you start earning profit out of your staked tokens. So it didn't make a lot of sense for short-term stakers, and it didn't support them at all. So it only supported the people who will be staking for 1 year non-stop. Now, to make this a balance, we decided to remove the tax. So whoever wants to stake even a single week or 2 weeks, they're still profitable by using our platform. The reason for staking is actually to get you profitable. At the same time, make sure that your tokens are supporting the ecosystem itself, that it's not being dumped into the market, that it's not available for you to dump whenever you want. So that's why those tokens were, we decided to put the staking taxes on the rewards only. There was a question also about centralized listing. What are the key learnings so far from Gate and XT? How will this impact future listing in the market making? Is the market maker in place? Yes. What's been the difficult to avoid the token price recent decline? Well, we get this question a lot about the token price decline. And we also get the question about the success of listing with XT and listing with Gate.io. To talk about a little bit about token prices, this is something that we get from every person who's in the community. Like, why the token dumping? Basically, it's something that we could or we cannot control at the same time. Well, the role of a market maker is to provide liquidity. By providing liquidity means that when somebody wants to sell, there is availability of tokens and cash flow that they can sell at a certain price. Now, the market maker is not trading for an external party. Is keeping these levels for WeSendit. And how do they maintain these floors and prices? They use WeSendit reserves. WeSendit reserves are money that's already on the WeSendit side. Now, if you ask me, WeSendit is not selling tokens. WeSendit is not earning from the token itself. How long until we run out of our own reserves? It will just take a little bit of time, and then we don't have enough cash flow to support these levels. Well, if you notice most tokens, when they list on exchanges, the first thing, not only list on the exchange, but when they go live, the first thing you see is a big hiccup, and then there's a huge drop. Normally what happens is the team, for example, selling the tokens to have a large reserve pool so that they can support the project along the way. And as I already mentioned, that WeSendit doesn't necessarily need this fund in the initial stages, as the company itself does not necessarily depend on one side. It's already also operating on Web 2.0. So if we had a chance to do that, or if we wanted to do that, the token will have rise to 0.3 and will have probably dump it back to 0.0 or maybe 1x, for example. And that would be just fine with the community because they're still profitable. But we didn't do that. That's we kept on growing the price of the token as it goes to make sure that the community have a good vibe, and also the people staked and their token were locked are profitable. At this stage, as we speak, nobody who bought in private pre-sale is at a loss. Everybody's in a profit, and not only in 1x. It was at some point, it was more than 15x. And at this stage, it's around 8x for some, and maybe 4x to other people again. Now, I think 10x to some, right? I'm not wrong. And maybe 5x to some, but everybody's still profitable. Why? Because the team didn't have a chance or didn't want to destroy the price floor. But then the team has been using its own reserve to support the price floors. And you cannot support the price floors forever. You have to give the community an option to support you as well. So if the community work is only once the release token is released to them and they dump it and then want the token to be the same price again so that they continue dumping, we cannot do this forever. We also need the token flow to rise, and it cannot always be that we are providing exit liquidity to everyone else. So that's why the market is going down, because we reduce the amount of liquidity that we provide that everybody's dumping into it. So by reducing this, it also shows that most people were pushing the price down while we were trying to pull it up. That's exactly what happened. About CEX listing with Gate and XT, some people ask about the prices, why the token prices, the listing prices started quite low. Well, basically, I asked both exchanges. This is psychological effect. No exchanges want to list a token and there is no price hiccup. So normally they put a level below, and normally nobody's buying at this level. It's just a psychological impact. The agreeable price, starting price is always set, and normally it's probably below, like 2 to 3% below the current market cap. If you're trading already on DEX, it will always be around that areas. So normally that's exactly what happened. The price was never listed at those low prices and nobody benefited from them. The prices was always started up, and our market maker pick it up from the level that it started and provided liquidity for both sides. Question about Snapshot airdrop. This question is interesting as well. How are you planning to avoid the expected pump and dump around the second snapshot on February 14? Any thought on how to improve the process and rule for the second snapshot in order to sustain the chart? Another question that I'll continue reading. Have you already decided to the remainder of the airdrop pool to reinforce the staking pool? Do you agree that this should not be put to vote, as the public group are full of paper hands, non-holders without the long-term perspectives? Well, I will start with the first question. We have already discussed this in the background, and as a team, we have talked about the possibilities of making these tokens available to the community, and again at the same time look at how we can give this token to the community. The most obvious reason that was more favorable to the token price itself was to vest these tokens, but only this will be able to pass this through the community itself. So all qualified not top 10, but all qualified people with 10,000 plus tokens will have a chance to vote into the pool and decide the fate of how we should distribute these tokens. So now, if you ask me, will somebody with 10,000 have the same number of votes as somebody with 1 million tokens? No, of course not. We'll have a variance. If you have 10,000, maybe you have 1 vote. If you have 1 million, you have 100 votes. And then we can decide using these votes how we will be distributing these tokens. But for sure, if most investors will rather prefer them vested over a long time as well. But we are thinking about around 12 months that we release them, we add them into your staking, in your vesting dashboard, that you have them released monthly or daily as everybody else is receiving tokens. About staking platform itself, sustainability of it, and the remainder of the tokens. Well, we know for sure everybody would like to the price to go up, but adding token to the staking pool itself doesn't necessarily mean that the token has a favorable price valuation. Of course not. Adding token to the staking pool is a delay process. Normally, if you want the price of a token to increase, or if you want to do anything, you only need to do one thing: remove them from the circulation supply. And this is always through a banning process. You just ban them out. And it makes sense for us that it should be the best strategy to go with, rather than adding them to the staking. If you add them to the staking, only the stakers benefit, not the whole ecosystem. Only people who stake the token benefit. They already are at 200 APY currently, and they're earning a very comfortable rates. So adding more token to the staking pool will not change the 200 APY. The 200 APY is going to still stay there until the pool is overflooded. But then in the short term, we could ban these tokens that because these tokens are also released into the market, we could ban them to remove this supply. It's around 30 million tokens. It's possible to remove these tokens. And if we decide to give the power to the community to decide, if the community decide that we add them to the staking pool, then for sure we can add them when at a certain levels, when the pool goes, when the staking pool maybe goes down to 50%, which currently is not foreseen. Another question, Marcus, there's a lot of questions. I don't know if you want to pick any of them.
You mean in the
Google form?
In the Google form? Yeah, there are a lot of questions, but most of the questions are on your side. It's
all
not
right,
about.
All right.
We have some marketing questions, but I think we covered already the marketing side. As we are speeding up, but there is no confirmation yet. But you will see during next days we will release AMAs. We will announce cooperations with YouTubers. But we have the philosophy: if the contract is not signed or if the agreement is not handshaken, then we do not communicate. That's otherwise it's just rumors.
Yeah, the next question are quite short. I'll just brush them quickly. There's a question about staking NFTs. I think I've already covered a lot of NFT question. The question is, any plans to improve education on this total awareness on the NFT ownership equal to stake entry ownership? Yes, of course. We are planning to update the staking dashboard and also provide a technical wiki. So soon enough, you'll be able to see an extension of our website where you will be getting news and new feeds about anything that's happening on our website. So this is already in plan and we will initiate it soon enough. If we buy NFTs, will the associated staked tokens count automatically to the Snapshot airdrop? If we buy NFTs, will the associated staked token count automatically to this? Yes, the airdrop is bound to the NFT itself. So you will be able to automatically qualify. Can an NFT be transferred wallet to wallet? If yes, are there any costs associated? We already mentioned this. I was already talking about this before. Yes, this is possible. There's no fee. Expect the gas fee, of course, from the network itself. There was a point that was added by the dev that says that there's a possibility of for us to charge royalty fees in the future, but this has not been implemented yet. So by any chance, if we implement this function, then we'll have to discuss, or you'll see it on update of NFT attributes. So that's already something that we'll think about. Any plan to build an NFT market with the app site? These questions are more into the development. It might be an option, but final decision will be provided when we sat down and discuss it and we see the future of WeSendit project itself moving into the NFTs. So yes, this question will always come back to us and we'll have meeting and discuss them if there is a future of having such a platform to incentivize the use of NFTs. And the question about MVP, I've already discussed the latest status of our MVP and everything else. Marketing Marcus has already discussed. And the live event, the question here was, will it be great to run some competitions, challenges, or rewards for free package? Yes, this is possible, where our marketing team can come up with an idea of how this might happen. Maybe an FT drop for every ticket buyer. This is also some suggestion that was provided. But then it's still early into this discussion. This is an idea and a plan, so we have a lot of time to discuss the final details on how we move this. And the last question was the price decline foreseen expected? Does this affect the long-term strategy and prediction? Well, Marcus always uses one word that nobody has. Which term do you normally use? Golden balls or what? I don't know. But yes, we don't have that ability to know exactly which way the market moves. Market is always supported by you, the buyers and the sellers. So if the buyers, we have more buyers than the seller, then definitely the market goes up. If we have more sellers than the buyers, it's the opposite happens. And if you ask me if this affects the future projection of the project, no, because once we roll the use case of Web 3.0, there will be more need for the token more than this at this stage. Now it's only trading. There's no any other use case than swapping it with stablecoin. But then when it starts rolling out, with the services are out, then there is a use case that will be running, and that use case will automatically make the circulation, the volume, and everything will be just active at that stage. And I think those are the questions that I have on my table at this stage. So perhaps we'll open the mic for people who want to ask some questions live, then we can discuss. I will be unmuting one person by one, and you'll be able to ask questions. So if you have a question, you can just raise your hand, and I'll be unmuting you to speak. And as well, type your question into the chat. We will get it. Anybody want to ask something? Yes, we have Khan. Khan, you are allowed to speak.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks for these wonderful news that we were all expecting to hear with this EMA. I was wondering, maybe you remember, Brian, we talked about the cold wallets eligibility, about getting airdrops. Since you told me that it will be a little bit difficult to trace these addresses, and you suggest us to keep our funds in hot wallets like MetaMask and Trust Wallet. But since we stake and get NFTs from the event, and we transfer them to our cold wallets, is it much more easy to get airdrops in cold wallets as well? Or you still suggest us to keep our NFTs in MetaMask or Trust wallets like hot wallets? Thanks.
This is a question that I think. Okay, thank you, Khan, for the question. I think this is a question I have to confirm with our dev. But as I mentioned, now having an NFT ID already can tell us exactly what is in that wallet, and we can trace. We can use the data from that wallet itself. But it's at this stage, it's better to keep the hot wallet that you have. That it's easy to do everything in a foreseen way. Hope that answers your question. All right. I'll unmute somebody else. I'll take some questions from somebody else. So who has some questions? Antonio has some questions. Where is Antonio again? I lost you. Yes. Allowed to speak. You're allowed to speak, Antonio. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hey guys, thank you. I just wanted to get some clarifications regarding my previous question on the snapshot rewards. So from, if I understood it correctly, you said that the current intention, and you will still announce it in the coming days or weeks.
Can you be a little bit louder? We can't hear you.
Sorry. Is it better now? Is it better
Just
now?
be a little bit louder. That should be what should work fine for us.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
It's good. Okay. So regarding the snapshot airdrops rewards, I believe you mentioned that the current plan is to release them over a period of 12 months. Is that correct?
A proposal that we have for you guys to decide.
Okay. Okay. But my question when I put it earlier was more related to, you know, the eligible amount that one will have in his wallet in order to get this snapshot airdrop. I'll tell you what my concern is. I can easily anticipate that few hours or one day before Feb 14, everybody will rush into buying the token in order to get 20% or 30% correspondent rewards. And immediately after the second snapshot, they just dump it back into the market. And that's a big concern I have, because then it is, if not avoided, this will just be another, big, significant pump and dump into the chart, which I don't believe is interesting for anybody. Hence my question of whether it would be possible to, as you release the rewards over a period of time, then people would need to keep the initial eligible amount on his wallet as well in order to receive those rewards, just to avoid an immediate dump after the snapshot.
So I guess this is not a question, this is a suggestion.
Well,
right?
It's a concern. It's a concern.
Well, about the token dump on 12 on this date that you mentioned, definitely, if somebody buys the token, we are not going to start vesting this token immediately. Of course, we close this snapshot on that date, and then we'll announce when we'll start releasing tokens. If the community, for example, now we decide to give the power back to the community and give them an opportunity to vote. If the community votes that we release this token over a period of 12 months, then this is like a vesting. Then it means that if 10 million tokens are supposed to be distributed, these 10 million tokens will be distributed over 12 months period. Then it's basically will be less than 1 million token per month, which definitely won't hurt much. I think this has no direct impact to immediate dumping.
Let me see if I can be a bit more clear. Imagine that I have $200K on my pocket or my bank account. On the February 13, I put that and buy 1 million WSI tokens, just in order to get 50% of airdrop on the next day. And right after the snapshot, I sell that 1 million tokens back into the chart. So I got 500K for free.
Well, I think we can talk this down with the market maker and decide a strategy that will work, that will also support the project. So basically, there are things that we cannot discuss with you if they are more into supporting the chart itself. But I'm sure we'll come up with a strategy that will avoid such occurrences. And also, if it happens, maybe the effect or the impact won't be felt that much.
Okay. My next question is still regarding the reminders, the possible reminders of this 30 million pool for the first snapshot airdrop. Regarding this, whether they should be applied into the staking pool to reinforce its size or burning. I've heard you, and apparently the team position is it would be better to burn instead of reinforce the staking pool. Is that correct?
Giving opinion based on my own experience, I think if the pool at the moment is quite good, and you already can see that over this period of time, the staking pool is constant. There's nothing reducing because the token we have against it is basically stable. So in the short term, there's nothing to worry about that. So if we save tokens from this, we might keep this token locked for the next 3 years and still open the staking pool that it runs longer.
Okay, so it's not a question of burning them immediately. Because my point again here is I understand what you're saying, and you are absolutely right. So far, so good. APY seems to be stable and quite high, around the 200%. However, I believe it's to expect that as time goes by, week after week, month after month, and as people get more released tokens from the vesting schedules, people will stake more. So as time goes by, the APY and APR will start decreasing. Hence, it will be good, in my humble opinion, to reinforce the staking pool in order to keep it at an attractive level, to keep people from selling and staking instead.
Well, 200 APY, I get your point. 200 APY is already good enough. And I think an APY that will trigger such an event that we would like to add tokens into it should be below 100. So probably it's around 80 or 60. Then we'll see that we'll think about adding tokens into the pool to increase the staking API itself. But right now, if it drops to 150, that's still really good API for the token at this stage, considering that we are also still developing and the use case is just around the corner. So definitely your token will be more valuable probably twice after that stake. But I get your point. These are the things that we are always considering. What's the best strategy that will work for the token itself, for the staking pool itself, for the investors itself. So it's not a one-way situation that we have to look for. If we focus on the investors, then we forget about the use case of the token and supporting of the ecosystem. Then we neglect most important aspects. But then we have to look at it all round always.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Last question, very quickly, regarding the official ranking that you have proposed to the community. The one from shrimp to blue whale, was it? Are you planning to do something with it, like sharing a monthly or every 2 weeks report of how many people have upgraded and if there are all any incentives planned or we could expect in order to use it also to create some dynamic among the investors community?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. We might discuss it with the dev team to see how they can collect this data all the time and update them weekly or monthly or something. It's a good idea. We'll add it to the dev questionnaires. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Thanks for supporting. Anybody else have some interesting question to ask? We'll be taking them. Yes, I see Salvatore and then Shinobi. You're allowed to speak, Salvatore. Go ahead. Falco, Salvatore, you're allowed to speak. Unmute yourself.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. We have to work on my pronunciation of the name, Salvatore.
Salvatore. All right.
All right. So 2 questions regarding the product. So Marcus, you mentioned previously that once the MVP would be rolled out, the new features which might come can be voted by the community.
Yes.
And
yeah,
exactly.
That's correct. Well, we have a basic set of functions. These are
exactly
mainly must-haves where we cannot negotiate.
No.
We have, of course, functions where the community can decide if we should implement, or maybe we create ideas from the community and implement them on the platform. These are add-ons mainly.
I'm fully with you. Absolutely. I mean, the must-haves, the mandatory ones, of course, they need to be there. But bringing those or additional features, on vote or to the community it's cool. But at the very end, the people who should decide in terms of features should be then finally the users. Or am I wrong? I mean, it doesn't make sense now if I have now, for example, let's have an unicorn on the app on the upper left side, which is fancy and cool, but in terms of functionality, no added value at all. So that's why.
I think the purpose of MVP is to get feedback back. So now at this stage, we can always collect feedbacks.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
it's not necessarily that we are going to implement them, but it's good to know exactly what the sentiment is.
Of course. I mean, I'm also working, software development, and I know what MVP is and know the procedure and then the processes are all about. That's why I was just wondering. I mean, at the very end, it's the customer which pays for that service, and if he needs now, a button on the lower left-hand side, then we'd rather do that than unicorn on the top side of the app. Okay.
Yes. Sure. I fully understand your input, Salvatore, and yeah, do the one thing and do the other as well. So on one hand, of course, we are customer focused and customer oriented, but as those customers are Web3 platform users, they are getting in contact with the token, and as long as they get in contact with the token, they most probably are part of the community. So yeah, but of course, the customer will tell us required features. The community maybe can vote or give input. So we have to find out which way is the best for us. But we do not want to exclude the community, the power of the community, the power of 60,000 brains, which thinks as well. And maybe we conclude then, maybe we have a selection table, 5 different functions, and then we vote which one we should realize first, or whatever it is. But we want to include the community. That's very important. As we have seen, the power of community is pretty strong here. And it's not fair if we create a platform without asking the investors what they think about. And that's why we want to include the community in kind of a way which we have not finalized yet, but you will be included. That's our major goal.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, but of course, the user or the customer in that sense who pays for the services shouldn't be forgotten in that sense. Then
will not. No worries.
All right. Okay, then the next question is more related, more a curiosity in terms. Okay, now I go for a premium subscription, and of course send data through. We send it gets stored. My question is, what happens with the data once I resign? I mean, customer can also resign the subscription. What happens with that data? Is this stored still? Will it be stored forever, or will we get rid of that? I mean, also maybe I have also done some research with some competitors, which some of them have this data storage like forever. I guess you know who am I compared, or some pros and cons, because I couldn't find any details in the documentations on the website or on the Medium docs or on the pitch. So,
yeah. Brian, do you want to answer this question? As far as I know, we are an aggregator, so we just link platforms. We do not store.
Okay, on your own.
In any way, in any kind. So I think it's more what your data storage provider of your choice, SIA, Filecoin, whatever you select, will do with the data and what policies they have. But maybe, Brian, you know more about the products, if they are stored. But is it as it is blockchain like? I assume it's stored for forever, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you can delete it, but this would not be compliant with blockchain.
Jens is here. I think Jens wants to contribute on that question.
Yes, I'm available now, guys. I can answer these questions, no problem at all. Yeah, first of all, hello everybody. I'm available now for questions as well. And Salvatore, thank you for the interesting questions. Yes, we have the possibility, of course, that the user can decide if the files will be delayed or not. So they have the possibilities, and that's implementing in the application as an aggregator, that the user can send the files or can store the files on the network, for example, Filecoin, Storj. We start with Storj in the first place, and afterwards we will move on with Filecoin. And SIA is right now a red flag because they have not so much updates in the last year. And for this reason, we start with Storj, and we have the possibility to tag, or we integrate an API where the user can delete after this line the subscription as well. That's a possibility that we have right now. But in a technical aspect, maybe we can make a follow-up call with our chief technical officers, Reto, that he can answer all the questions. I think that's also a good idea for the coming AMA session, that we make a meeting, an AMA session with the complete team, that we can answer also technical questions. I hope that's answer your questions.
Yeah, no, super. Thanks for the explanation, Jens, as usual, and your patience with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, no, thank you very much, and yeah, keep on doing the good work, and I guess see you in spring in Zug.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, guys.
Cheers. Do we have more questions to take from the community? Anybody has some question to? Yes, I see Dorian. Dorian, you're allowed to speak. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Okay. Well, first of all, how do you say it in Swiss? I don't know. Guten Abend, bonsoir.
Guten Abend, guten Abend.
I don't know.
Whatever you want.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm here in Holland, not that far from you. I have a question actually about the product you're talking about, because I think many people here maybe are into crypto, but they don't really look into the companies, or they don't really care if there's any like products behind it. Personally, I only holding long term in some cryptos that are really doing a product like you. It's quite unique, I think, to find a company like this that's already established and has big name clients. Okay, my question. So just kudos for you, and please don't get crazy from all these traders. I think you're doing really a great job, and don't take anything personal. Now my question. Is there a plan to finally upgrade WeSendit 1.0, like the old platform, to the new one that you're building now, or will they exist together? That's actually my first question. Like, did you really launch this as like a separate product to get new markets, or are you planning to actually make one product of it? If you want to share this information, of course.
Very much. Jens, do you still want to take this as well?
Yes, it's so technical from the tech team. Maybe Jens can comment on it. But I don't want to say something wrong. Have an idea or have a certain stand of information, but I'm not sure if this is the latest shift. I would say.
Okay. Maybe
maybe can answer this question. Also, I try to explain this. We have to decide of different models what we have. We have Web 2 and we have the Web 3 client customers, the new one. And on the Web 2.0 customers, we have right now 3.75 million customers right now. And our goal is that users can, per one-click solution, upgrade to the Web 3 as well. On the other hand, downgrade from Web 3 to Web 2, that's not possible right now. But our goal should be that we can incentive so much measures and marketing measures that we can upgrade the existing customers, and that's possible. Yeah.
All right, great. Because I mean, as an investor, the question, of course, why I asked this, and it's a follow-up question. It's more like the idea, I hope, in the end, is that the existing 3.75 million customers will start to pay and use, known or unknown, like knowingly or unknowingly, the WSI token. Like if they do a normal dollar payment from their credit card, it's actually somehow converted or bought or transferred into your own token. Like, is this the bigger? I mean, I hope that would be the bigger idea, but I'm not sure.
Well, this is a question I can take. Of course, this is our aim, that we can move as many as possible from Web 2 to Web 3, because updating or upgrading existing clients is much cheaper than acquiring new ones. So it's just a marketing rule which is valid everywhere, and that's why we will create some kind of benefits if you change from Web 2 to Web 3. Of course, it's in the beginning, that's what we need to do to motivate a lot of Web 2 users migrating to Web 3. And I'm fully with you. We should make sure that a lot of existing customers are using the Web 3 application and use a token, and this gives buy pressure on the token side, and this will have an impact on the price. If the market sentiment is in our favor, that's always something we cannot influence, but we can influence the way we do marketing. We can, or we will talk to our corporates on Web 2, like Red Bull and all these big names, and we try to find a solution to migrate them to Web 3. Not easy, but not impossible.
But I
so
think
far, we have not started to contact them because we need corporate solutions for the platform. MVP is not that suitable for corporate solutions, but of course we have our thoughts as in the Web 2 environment to offer services or some kind of
sorry, but
for corporates. Because corporates, that's the best thing which can happen. Government-related companies, hospitals, whatever, everyone who needs safe data storage, safe data transfer, they are potential customers, and it's my job and the job of my team, would say, to do brilliant marketing to acquire those customers. Not just doing marketing for the utility token and getting YouTubers on board. No, we do classical marketing to get those companies, or mainly corporates, on board and make them use of a Web3 platform like WeSendit. And those are recurring customers. They pay monthly quite a good amount of money. And of course, then we have volume on a token too.
Okay, but if I can just add one more. What I mean actually is that it doesn't really matter what the market sentiment is or what your marketing is doing for the crypto side. I mean more, if you on the background use your token as a method for payment internally, it doesn't matter if they know, even if Facebook or your other clients or Red Bull, they don't even need to know in the background that they need tokens from their dollars, so they can actually use the system like XRP will do for financial systems. So they're not really care about the current market value or the marketing for the token. It's just the way behind the technique of your platform, how it works. So there will always be a demand for the token, because without that token, it won't work, but they don't really have to know. It will just go on the background. But maybe I'm going a little bit too much into the depth, but I hope in the end that all clients will use your platform knowingly or unknowingly. This was more my point.
Well, you should know that the Web 3.0 has its own ways of. First, you need to join the Web 3.0 to be able to access the tokens. Now, what you're saying is that we have a back-end swap function that if somebody pays with classical models, then it converts immediately to WSI token. But then WSI token, it's only available on Web 3.0. Some people don't want to be in the decentralized environment, but now it's like we are pushing them to use the decentralized platform, which might be slow for them to catch up. So we will do marketing to that incentivizes that they have more advantage to use that, and they will freely transit. We cannot push them and force them to join that side of the world when they're still not. The market, we know for sure crypto is still in its early
and the speed, everything is the same. The interface is the same. It's just what you decide on the background how it works. I mean, this was just my input. Maybe it doesn't make sense.
I think your point is we convert our revenue from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and then it doesn't really matter if it's really high or low. It's like it's always adding value to the token because there's like a natural demand for it. That was more my point. So yeah, like some other platforms I'm also investing in that has this kind of mechanism behind.
Absolutely right.
People can just pay with credit card or whatever. It doesn't matter, you know. Like old school doesn't matter. In the background, it's the token.
All right. I think those are the details that we always can put down and have them discuss on a later date.
All right, thank you. Well, thank you for
listening. Thank you very much for the input.
I really wish you good luck, and I will be supporting you.
Thank you very much, Dorian.
Thank you.
Maybe one last question.
Good. Yes.
Brian. So as we have already 9:15.
Yeah, I think we'll take 2 more questions.
Or 2 more questions. So use the chance to ask Brian or myself about what you want to know, what you're keen to know. So 2 votes get a chance, and then we conclude and close.
Yeah, Shibnobinas. You're allowed to speak. Go ahead.
You have to learn, Brian, because he's always asking.
It's a long name sometimes to mention.
I know it's a tongue twister. My nickname is a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is.
How are you guys doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Sorry, I actually joined in late, so I missed a lot of updates. I'll definitely watch the recording for sure. But the main, I have a couple of questions, but the main one is we moved from charging for the staking fee, right? We moved from charging the initial deposit 3% to charging 3% on the rewards. Why was that decision made? What was the basis behind that?
I think all decisions are made on the basis of supporting the community itself. Community doesn't want to lose their tokens if you take your money to the bank, you initially don't want to lose that initial amount that you're depositing into that bank. So if it's the same strategy that was used in our side, that we can reduce the amount of your rewards, but not your initial deposit. So that's how we can get the token back into the circulation supply. I think it's better for people want to stake for short term. They don't have to suffer a fee that is not favorable for them. I already mentioned that if somebody stakes for 1 week, he need 9 days to have his 3% paid off. And in this case, it will be a loss for him to use the platform. So it doesn't support short-term stakers. It only supports people who are staking for long-term. And the aim of the platform itself is to actually supplement the whole community. So whoever is staking 10 tokens and whoever is staking 100,000 tokens should benefit for the same reason, regardless if you're staking for 1 week or you're staking for 52 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, and personally, obviously, I'm going to be, we've discussed this in history, Brian, for me, it's not a big deal. I have a lot of tokens I'm going to be staking because I believe in the product and the company. No problems with me, but the viewpoint is where we differ, right? You mentioned since there is no tax even for short-term stakers, but what if they think from the other side, which is now you are basically getting charged 3% on the rewards, so instead of 3% of whatever they put, you're going to be paying 3% of the higher API, right? That they're going to be getting. So I don't know. It's just the way you look at it. I know we have to do a balancing act, but it is a little confusing, how people see this. But anyways, we cannot come to a conclusion here. It's just a observation from my end. I'm on the other end of spectrum in terms of how people might view this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, so the other next question is like XT, right? The volume is super low even after the bump yesterday. Again, is there any issue, or is the team following up on that?
We have been following up on XT issue. It was actually a halt that was caused by us removing taxes on our tokenomics, that we don't charge taxes on our on-chain transactions. So after we remove this, they needed to halt their transaction, and seems like they're a bit slow on the developer side, and that has caused that this delay. But delay was basically caused on deposits. There was a halt on deposits, and I think withdrawal was just working fine, only on deposits. And about the trading volume, basically is normally market sentiment is traded. And as already mentioned, most of the time we also have market makers keeping the levels or adding liquidity, and we can't just keep doing wash trades if there are no people who can join in to trade, if they're blocked from joining the platform itself. So that's why the volume already also went down, because there were no new people joining the platform because there was a halt.
Okay. Is there any activity being made to kickstart the volume on NXT, or it's too early to?
I think we're just waiting on them to finalize what they were doing on the technical side, and everything will be back on as usual.
Okay. Because I mean, I feel like, I mean, you guys probably know about this, right? Gate, US users cannot trade, and the exposure for WSI from a CEX perspective is only XT for US users. So there's going to be quite a few, new investors coming in, I think. So that's why, unless we are planning to go on more exchanges, which is sometime in the future, that's why, it's imperative.
Yes, we'll fix it soon enough.
Okay. The other question is like, sorry, I'm taking time, but I know like we had some sense of like, like we will maintain some sort of volume with BSC, but is the team discussing anything about going or opening in other chains as well to get more investors? Because as you know, like Ethereum has like massive amount of investors, and same thing holds for Polygon as well. Is there any discussions being, talked about regarding this, or it's just BSC?
I can answer that part of that question, but maybe Jens also can add something. Well, WeSendit as a token that is already on BSC is not pegged to BSC forever. Maybe to some points we'll be able to run our own nodes, and this will be interesting. How we grow will decide how the future moves. So probably WeSendit will end up to a point that we don't even need to be an aggregator anymore, but run our own chain. So at this stage, and expansion and development are decided by the market sentiments. So if more people are pushing us to join this environment or join other chains, then why not? We are not pegged to anything. We are not tied to BSC. Correct. Yeah,
that's good to know. And I did see the MVP video. I think future looks amazing. I believe in the company. I believe in the product. I think we're gonna reach moon very soon.
Thank you so much. Don't worry here, guys. We only just in the beginning phase, and a lot of comes in the next couple of weeks and months with the MVP, with the complete product version. And don't worry about the price. We're here to stay on the long term, and we have a lot of surprising in the future for us and for you. Yeah, I think we are finished now, Marcus. Brian, maybe.
I think so. We don't have more questions.
Sorry. May I add something? Since I'm unmuted, I couldn't raise my hand
I'm Can from Turkey.
Okay, Ken, go ahead.
Sorry, I interrupted your words. If you want to continue to tell something, I will wait for a couple of minutes.
No problem.
Yes,
no problem.
I don't.
Go ahead, Ken.
Thank you very much. I have a friend of mine from the Turkish group who is asking if you are doing some AMAs in AMA groups, especially created for AMAs to make our token much more known by wide community. He's asking for this. And secondly, since I am a member of academic staff in a university, we are mostly using our data to be transferred on hardwares, because we are using a huge amount of data. So are you considering to give an educational account, an option for these kind of universities, colleges? Because, for example, in Turkey, my university has more than 3,000 academic staff, and this is kind of a large company, and maybe we will be encouraged to join this kind of a wonderful project to use our data transferred securely, because most of our data are confidential to be published in papers, in journals. So we can use this ability to store and transfer our data in academic memberships. This is my second question. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Well, I just jump in, and Can, thank you very much for this very valuable input, and I will follow up with Jens. Something we have not thought about to create maybe an educational membership or just helping universities to transfer data. I studied myself at university, and I know what it means to writing papers or preparing some confidential work for diploma studies and whatever, and you have to share a lot of data and with several parties. Why not? So maybe you can share your contact details on one of our emails, and we can do a follow-up on a bilateral way, and I will make sure that Jens will join too, and that we can find a solution or create a case with pre-chadis, so that it means that we create a case where other universities can learn from, and why not? I think it's a good, firsthand, it's a good idea, but maybe you share details, and Jens and myself will do the follow-up, think about it, and contact you if we need further information.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, we are open here for cooperation. You can send us all an email to jh@wesendit.io or wesendit.com. I'm available and reachable every time. And if you have some cooperation requests, feel free. You contact me, and I will share it with the sales team internally. And we keep moving here. Absolutely, it's a good idea.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. That's very kind of you. Thank you. And the second question, please. My friend's asking if you are considering to join AMA groups in Telegram for another AMA.
I think you mean AMAs, right?
Exactly. I'm sorry for the pronunciation.
Yes, we have been planning AMAs. I think currently we have 2 AMAs that waiting for us to pick dates, and we'll be expanding. The problem with most Telegram groups, it's most of them are boted. So we end up joining the AMAs, and then we have 5 people, 10 people. Then we feel like we wasted 1 hour preaching to 5 people to get into our product. Now it's a process that also need a little bit of due diligence to get to know best AMA Telegram groups or Twitter channels that we can portray our product and discuss it with that team and get some people joining us. Yes, but this is part of the marketing team's job, that they are trying to get us into the best places as much as possible.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Cool.
We're
okay.
done for today. Yeah.
I think so. We are done for today, Brian. And yeah, I can just speak to all of you that we want to thank you for attending. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your patience. We know sometimes it's not easy if you just look to the price and get nervous, but you know, on the other hand, that it's a long-term project. And don't forget to join us in a month for an AMA here again. Maybe we do one in between if we have news, or if we see that it's needed that we talk to you. We are still here, and even though if we are not really visible from time to time, that does not mean that we are getting lazy and we are just laying at the beach, at the sea, and enjoy the sun. So we do our job in the back, but some good things will need time to be realized. And well, again, I thank you for your patience and your trust. My team value your confidence very, very much, and we are proud to have such an amazing community. Thanks a lot, and Brian, maybe you close the session with your words.
Yes, thanks, Jens, for that closing speech. I don't think there's anything left for me to say. I'll just have to wish the whole community a good evening, and thank you very much for joining us all the time, and keep supporting us. You can always ask some question into the chat, and we'll always be attentive. You tag me, I will be answering them. You tag Marcus, he will be answering them. You tag Jens, we are always around the corner somewhere, reading all these questions and replying to them immediately as they arises. So keep supporting us, and let's move in the pace that is needed. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Yeah, good evening from my side. And there's nothing more to add here. Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.